Joe Biden has been promising to make climate change and dealing with it a big part of his administration. Well, we've had a little bit of that with some executive orders that we've talked about on the show previously. You can find those videos available on YouTube. Now we've got more. So new executive orders being released, including a working paper with more details by the White House today. The orders will direct the Secretary of the Interior Department to pause on entering into new oil and natural gas leases on public lands and offshore waters to the extent possible, while beginning a rigorous review of all existing fossil fuel leases and permitting practices, according to a fact sheet produced by the White House. So that is good, especially in comparison to the former White House, which tried to get as much of that going as possible, especially in the last few months. Once they realized it was unlikely they would continue, they started selling it off as fast as possible. Here's the issue. They've already sold a lot of it. And so that's a problem going forward. As of 2019, more than 26 million acres of US land were already leased to oil and gas companies. And last year, the Trump administration, in a rush to exploit natural resources hidden beneath publicly owned lands and waters, leased tens of thousands more. So if the administration honors those current contracts, millions of publicly owned acres could be open to fossil fuel extraction in the coming decade. So halting them is something, taking them back much better. Because the climate, the atmosphere doesn't just get pumped full of carbon as a result of, like, if we continue to do more of it. The stuff that we've already locked in is just as much of a problem. So this is currently the easier stuff. So far as I can tell, there's nothing in terms of presidential power with executive orders that would stop him from doing that with the past leases. But we'll have to see on that. The current effort, it's something, it's good, but we need much more than that.
Yeah, I'm trying to approach the best way to approach the Biden administration and the things they've done, because it's so early, right? And I'm trying not to put so much of an assumption on the objectives behind these things, but just we can point out maybe some of the holes in it. Because when the Trump administration was in, he was telling us his objectives, so it was very easy to be like, this is what he said he's doing. So there wasn't any speculation about where is this going, what's the plan here, who does he dislike, why is he putting this in place? It was all very openly out there. With this, we still go back to speculating about politicians, exactly what their intentions are. But from this, it seems like it's a couple of band-aids, and maybe this is the benefit of the doubt from me. Maybe they're floating it. And so like, we'll see how the public responds to our leaning this direction. And if they like it, we'll go further. If they don't like it, we'll just stop here and things will go back as it was, which we're fine with too, because come on, there's still money exchanging hands to the right people that we still like and it still give us donations. So I wonder if it's kind of a trial balloon. It's a little bit of something, it's actual something, but it's not all the way something. So I'm waiting to see, and by the way, that's when the American people come into play to understand what's happening and go, wait a second, that's not enough. And if that happens, then they'll respond correctly or fully.
Maybe. I think that we're sort of maybe seeing that in the next topic we're gonna talk about. I don't know, I think it's all well and good for him to say that he takes it really seriously. But again, like how many times did we say over the last year or two that it's not just about what you say you want to do, it's about who you are willing to fight. If you're willing to do some stuff about climate change, but you're not gonna really take on these companies, then you really don't care about it. If you're more worried about offending Exxon than you are about saving the climate, you don't really care about the climate. You care about donations going to you and to other Democrats. That's my concern. So we're gonna have to see. Now there's some other good stuff. And again, the overall purpose of the, like I'm naturally a skeptic, but the overall purpose of this block is to give them credit for what they're doing, but we're also not gonna pretend that it's more than it is.
Yeah.
Now that said, let's talk about a little bit more. Federal agencies also will be ordered to eliminate fossil fuel subsidies and identify new opportunities to spur innovation. Overhauling the tax breaks worth billions of dollars to the oil, coal, and gas industries to help pay for his climate change plan was also a major campaign promise. So this would be good. This is something that the Young Turks has been asking for it's 17 years, I don't know, forever. Why are we giving money to the most profitable companies in the history of companies? Why are we doing that? Now, hopefully he'll do that, and that is not nothing. Taking billions of dollars away from these companies, that is about as opposed to their interests as I can imagine, other than outright banning the development of all fossil fuels or cars that burn them. So that would be good. That would be good. We're not there yet. They haven't actually eliminated them yet, but it's ordering them to identify ways to do this, so we'll have to see.
It's weird. We know a lot of politicians that are getting paid by these companies. By the reason that you said, I wonder what the reason is, and I know you know it because they're getting paid. That's why. That's why they're going along with this more and really don't have much of a change for that. But if you think about it, just because they know how much Americans are set in their ways, and it's the normalcy. We're like 5-year-olds. It's like we don't want to move to the new house that's better because mom and dad got a better job. We're moving out of the neighborhood because they're 5 years old. That house. They're like, I don't like change. We don't like change. So since we're used to fossil fuels fueling our cars and doing things the way we like it, if it was reversed and we actually had solar energy, because this thing called the sun has always been there. So solar energy.
I don't know, half the time I can't see it.
Wind energy, any of these innovations that actually help with the environment, if those were the norm already, and then some wild-eyed crazy person came up and said, hey, you guys, let's start digging in the ground and pulling this stuff out of it and then put it in gas stations and then we'll convert it and put it in your cars and then it'll drive. People go, this crazy guy. We already have a complete and total industry that's based in this and it's perfectly fine. In our case, we're already used to the coal and oil industries doing the things they do, except they're also detrimental to our environment. So we also don't want to change things because we're 5-year-olds that don't like change. I don't know how to change the mindset of folks enough for us to realize you can change things. And when you give all this money to these industries, guess what? You can give all that money to a new industry that's innovative and changes things. But that's too scary for us because, oh my God, we're gonna change things. And this comes from me, who has owned 2 1988 cars, an 84 car, a 78, a 73, and a 71. 6 different cars that were pre-1990, pre-1985. And I love the smell of emissions. I love the smell of my gas. I love the smell of my car going. I love it. I love it. It's a real car to me. But you know what? I'm willing to give that up because I would like for our environment to at least be able to be. So when I get out of my car that goes, I'd like to breathe when I stand up. That's just that small thing. So it's not like I'm this huge Prius guy because I hate those cars. But you have to understand the things. You have to understand what you're giving up for what you're getting, and it's just being an adult.
Yeah, I can confirm Jayar has never owned a car with fewer than 9 cylinders. Anyway, yeah, well, you know what we need to do to finish? We just need to get you into like a really high performance electric car. I want you to feel that instant torque of a really high performance electric car. I had a really cheap one and it felt amazing. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.